All right, welcome back to another episode of the Investing with TJ show. That's a flashback to some of my earlier episodes for some of you OGs out there who've been with me since the beginning. Now, as you can see, we are still treading water here with silver and even with gold, but today we're going to focus more on silver, though I may make another episode talking about gold today. Now, we're still treading water here, but where exactly should we be? We're at 2281. And we had a pretty rough day yesterday, though not as rough as some other assets, but that's pretty much part and parcel with the fact that we saw the VIX rise all the way pretty much close to 30. And research has supported the fact that, or the relationship, I should say, that as we approach the 30 level in the VIX, pretty much almost every asset gets decimated. Everything starts selling. And that's pretty much what we saw yesterday. Now, where should we be? We're at 2281. I put some new inputs here in these white cells here in my silver forecasting model. And I basically found that we should pretty much be where we are. I mean, we really should be closer to the central limit. And in my view, it'd be nice to see it between the central limit and the upper limit. That would show a pretty nice bull run at the moment. But currently, we are in oversold territory, as you will see in some technical analysis that I will show later on in the episode. But we are definitely between the central and the lower limit. Now, what we are finding giving us this stop and start kind of movement here really is the fact that we're seeing Bitcoin drop and we're seeing dollar futures drop pretty much at the same time. Now, as you can see here, for those of you who've never seen my silver forecasting model, if I bring this down to about 50,000, and remember we're closer to 57,000, my central limit drops, my lower limit drops, my upper limit drops. Now, if I bring this to 95, we're at 96. My central limit actually rises a bit, and my lower limit is pretty much around the same area. But as you can see, they kind of play off each other a little bit, and it kind of gives us a little bit of a seesaw balance. Now, remember, we're at 96, and we are at 57,000. So as you can see, Bitcoin has it maintains its positive relationship with silver. So as Bitcoin goes down, we should expect to see silver to, display a little bit of weakness there. And that's what we've been seeing recently in that relationship. So this is a multiple regression, guys. You can actually get this. I have this actually available for you guys right now on my website here. It's on Gumroad. So you can get the silver forecasting model. You can also get gold. You can get copper. You can actually get all three for a cheaper price than just having them all separately. If you want to learn how to make a silver forecasting model, you can get all three of those forecasting models that I have for free if you get this quick 1 hour crash course. You can also, if you have any questions about gold or silver, specifically about forecasting models, then definitely you want to access or utilize office hours. But again, that's definitely at a higher price. So I wouldn't recommend that unless you're extremely serious. But for those of you who are interested in silver only, I just recommend getting the silver forecast model. But up to you. Let's talk a little bit about what we should expect coming in the future, because we do have COMEX silver contracts. Now, I got this from Wall Street Silver on Twitter, and I thought it was a really great tweet. I actually read through this on the Wall Street Silver Reddit page, and it was really fascinating to read. Now, basically what you're seeing here is silver, and I'll actually show this here. Silver, COMEX silver contract standing for delivery is the highest percentage of COMEX registered stocks since the blowout month of July 2020. The bleed from the COMEX registered is tightening the market. Now, as you can see here, for December of 2021, we have some nice And again, here on the left-hand side, fraction of registered. And we have some nice volume here relative to pretty much most of the months throughout the year. Now, remember, there are key months that tend to be the busiest. December is one of them. September is one of them. March, May is one of them. And man, off the top of my head, I believe it's either June or July. But as you can see here, July was a pretty big month for contracts. So it looks like there's a lot of volume here, which some are saying, just give it some time. We should see this really hit prices in a positive way. So let me know what you think about that in the comment section below. I may actually make more of a connection between what I see in my fundamentals, technical analysis, and contracts as well. But let me know what you think. I know many of you guys want me to talk more about, some of the banks that are behind some of this. JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, a lot more banks. But JP Morgan obviously is the one with a lot of issuance and stops that you see with the COMEX. And we'll talk a little bit about JP Morgan actually at the end of this video. So stay tuned for that. So where are we right now? As you can see, here we are with silver. We are at the bottom, the very bottom, close to the lower band for the Bollinger Bands. It looks like we're trying to get out of negative territory here in the MACD on the histogram. And it looks like we are pretty much right in oversold territory, unless we want to bleed a tiny bit more. But it looks like we're treading water. I don't know if that'll actually really happen. It may, but we're getting more so. We're trending, in my view, more towards people buying than selling, as you can see in technical analysis. So with adding all these things up, you saw my forecasting model. You saw where we are with contracts. You see where we are with some of these indicators. And, here it is with the moving averages. It leads one to believe that, okay, it looks like there's more upside in the future than downside in the near terms, I should say. Now, we did talk about silver, but let's also show you some of those other inputs that I have in my forecasting model, just so you can see it on the charts to know what I'm talking about here. And here we have Bitcoin. Bitcoin looks like it's trying to get out of its negative territory. So that would kind of support a bit of what my model is saying. If I'm correct in my view that we should be seeing more positive movements than negative movements, just given the fact that we've been bleeding so much. As you can see here, Bitcoin looks like it's trying to get out of negative territory, which would be a benefit to silver as well. So another input there that's good for silver. And again, what's the other input that I have? The dollar, DXY. DXY is coming down. And as you can see, it's really starting to just now begin that downtrend here in the DXY. So again, when you're looking at my forecasting model, this is essentially what I'm talking about. Those two are pretty much moving downward. The dollar futures are moving downward. Bitcoin looks like it's moving up. That would be positive for silver moving ahead. Now, even though I give Bitcoin a lot of crap, or I should say, I've been giving Bitcoin a lot of crap recently, though it is an input here for silver, there's something I just need to talk about here. And that is the whalish behavior of MicroStrategy. Now, as you can see, Bitcoin Magazine actually put this tweet out saying MicroStrategy has purchased the equivalent of 28% of all Bitcoin created since its first Bitcoin buy. And its first Bitcoin buy, I've been looking at its 10K, was last summer. So it really started buying Bitcoin last summer. And since last summer, it's bought 28% of all Bitcoin. This should worry you. The reason why is for many of you who are concerned with the, you know, oversized positions, manipulation, JP Morgan, the oversized positions of a lot of those big banks and the COMEX, you should be worried about this if you have exposure to Bitcoin. Why do I say that? Well, take a look at this. I wrote this into Google. How many ounces of silver does JP Morgan own? JP Morgan has amassed a physical stockpile of silver of at least 600 million ounces. Keep that in mind. They've amassed basically around 600 million ounces. How many ounces of silver exist above ground? According to CPM Group, one of the most thorough research consultancies in the precious metals industry, there is approximately 53.15 billion ounces of above ground silver. So that will lead one to believe, if you want to make a comparison, what percentage of above ground silver does JP Morgan own? And let's see if we can compare that with how much Bitcoin MicroStrategy owns. And mind you, this is just above ground. We can still dig up more, and that would dilute the amount of holdings that JP Morgan has unless they choose to buy more. Now, with MicroStrategy, Bitcoin, there's only a finite amount of Bitcoin just in period. So if they keep buying, they'll just own more and more of it. So let's see exactly what this calculation is. So 600 million out of 53.1 billion times 100. That's about 1.13%. So JP Morgan owns 1.13% of silver above ground. Now, again, many of us are concerned about, just the sheer amount of weight thrown around by JP Morgan in the silver space. But if you have exposure to Bitcoin, you should be worried also about MicroStrategy and the weight that it can throw around. Just sheer, just knowing the fact that it owns 28% of all Bitcoin. So guys, let me know what you think about all this. Please hit the subscribe button down below. Please hit the like button to get this out to more people, and have a good day.